Hello friends, welcome back to the tetrahedron chemistry classes. So guys, it has been long that I couldn't complete this microwave spectroscopy lecture series, and so far I have actually uploaded only two lectures, but due to some my personal reasons I actually couldn't upload the much videos. So from yesterday actually onwards I have started to upload the video. Okay, and yesterday I have uploaded a video on general organic chemistry, that is the use applications of heat of combustion in deciding the stability of the organic compounds. And see, from today onwards I am going to complete this microwave spectroscopy in 3 or 4 more lectures. So this is my lecture 3 actually, and see, now before going into the details of the lecture 3, I want to give you a short review of the lectures 1 and 2 what we have covered so far. So in lecture 1 actually I have explained the essential conditions. Okay, essential conditions for microwave activity. So this I have already discussed. That means the gas. See, if you can recall, gaseous state of the sample is must in order to record your microwave spectrum. Okay, and the molecule must have the permanent dipole moment. That means the homonuclear diatomic molecules would not be eligible to actually perform this microwave spectroscopy. So you must have the heteronuclear diatomic molecules. This I have discussed. Okay, and then I have also discussed the concept of the moment of inertia, and then I have discussed this concept, principal moments of inertia. See guys, if you are new here and watching this video for the first time, go to the description box. I am giving you the link of lecture 1 and 2 also. Okay, and after that I have also explained the concept of the ellipsoid, polarizability ellipsoid. This I have also explained to you, right? And based on this polarizability ellipsoid, I have actually classified the molecules in the different types. Like you have your linear tops, that means the linear molecules. Then you may have your symmetric tops, right? And under symmetric tops you may have the prolate type, then oblate type, then spherical tops, asymmetric tops. All this I have discussed. Then in the lecture 2 actually, right? So this is for your lecture 1. Now in the lecture 2 actually I have explained the concept of resonance in microwave spectroscopy. Resonance in microwave spectroscopy. Okay, how it happens actually. Okay, this I have explained in the detail. And then I see this I have discussed on the basis of the rigid rotor model, and I have derived the expression for the moment of inertia and the reduced mass, everything. And after that I have also explained the energy levels. In the lecture 2 I have also explained energy levels of rigid diatomic molecules. Okay, and based on this I have derived the expression for actually your energy term, right? Rotational energy term I have derived in that particular expression. And if you can recall, that expression was F J equals to B J times J plus 1, and this would be in centimeter inverse. This I have derived. Okay, and based on this I have explained the different energy levels, and I have given you the diagram also. Okay, and after that you see I have also explained the energy gap between the two energy levels. Energy gap between two energy levels. Okay, and if you can recall, I have derived this expression delta nu bar, that would be equals to 2b, okay, J multiplied by J into J plus 1. So up to this point I have completed this in pretty much detail. Now I am going onwards to explain the things, and today we will see your say intensity of the spectral lines and the selection rule. Okay, so we will discuss selection rules and intensity of spectral lines. So this is actually your lecture number 3 in the microwave spectroscopy. Okay guys, so I'm not going into the detail of pretty much detail of your quantum mechanics or the quantum physics actually, but I'll touch little part of those things actually. So see, if you consider that your Schrodinger equation, Schrodinger equation, 2 dot over there, right? And this 2 dot, I know this is the pronunciation, that is Schrodinger equation. So these 2 dots actually represents the au ki matra in Hindi. Okay, so this bus what Schrodinger equation or the shows that, see, for rigid diatomic molecules in the absence of the magnetic and the electric field, so only those transitions will actually occurs where the change in the rotational energy levels would be plus minus 1. So this is according to the Schrodinger wave equation, and you should know, right? You should know these things, and we have also discussed there is a selection rules in case of the Raman spectroscopy, where this value is delta J is equals to plus minus 2 actually, but in case of the microwave spectroscopy it is delta J equals to plus minus 1. And what it says, that means that according to the Schrodinger wave equation, okay, for a rigid diatomic molecules, right, in the absence of the magnetic and the magnetic field, only those transitions in which J changes from 1 unit, J changes by 1 unit are the allowed transition, that means delta J equals to plus minus 1. If you remember this particular point, then this is more than sufficient to understand the things actually, right? But again, I am not touching the detail of the quantum physics here. So if you go for the quantum mechanical treatment for this one, so actually this transition probability, if I say the transition probability, okay, see, in the light of the Schrodinger equation, it is quite fine that the delta J should be equal to plus minus 1 in order to transition takes place, in order to transition, right, takes place. Okay, and see, if this transition probability, if you want to check in the quantum mechanical treatment, it is given by the transition moment integral. It is given by the transition moment integral. Okay, and that transition moment integral actually is represented by the mu n time m's. Okay, and that would be equals to integration psi n mu operator mu m d tau. Okay, so this is transition moment integral, and if you know, see, what is this mu actually, mu operator, this is nothing but it is the summation of the particles, where I is the number of the molecules or the particles, whatever you want to say, multiplied, sorry, summation of this qi, and this is your ri vector. Okay, these things actually you should know. So what is the meaning of that? See, this mu is basically the permanent dipole moment. Okay, here mu is permanent dipole moment. You should know this thing. Okay, and what is your psi m? See, psi m is basically initial wave function. This is initial wave function, for initial rotational energy state, for initial rotational energy states. okay, then definitely there would be psi n. Psi n is actually what your final wave function. So I can write final, this wave function for final rotational energy states. Okay, these things you should know. And if you see here, what is the meaning of this q and I? See, q is the charge present on the particle or in the molecule, and your Ri is basically your position vector. So it is very important to understand the terms which we are using in that transition moment integral. So see, in the quantum mechanical treatment, right, see when the quantum mechanical treatment between radiation and the matter shows that the probability of the transition between the stationary states n and m is proportional to the square of the magnitude of this particular integral. So in what simply you take the square of this particular one, right, and this square of this particular integral, that will give you the probability of the transition, whether it is absorption or emission, doesn't matter. Okay, and where the integration is actually over the full range of the electronic and the nuclear, this integration is over the full range of the electronic and the nuclear coordinates. And the sum goes over all the charged particles. This summation goes over all the charged particles. Okay, so see now what happens in that case. You can see here, if this particular value nu m times m is equals to 0, if this value is 0, that means in that case forbidden transition. Forbidden transition means no transition would occur. So in order to transitions to take place, right, so this value, actually this transition moment integral, must not be equal to 0. Okay, when it is not equal to 0, only then it is the allowed transition. So you should remember this particular point, right? And see, if you go in little detail, not the pretty much, right? See, you know that this dipole moment is it is a vector quantity. Okay, it is what? It is vector quantity. So it is having direction as well as the magnitude. Okay, and see this can be expressed now in the 3 components as we did in case of the Raman spectroscopy. So this actually dipole moment, that is mu vector, it is what actually this mu in the x direction plus this mu in the y direction plus this mu in the z direction. Okay, so these are the 3 components along the 3 Cartesian coordinates. Okay, and the transition moment integral can be split into the 3 terms. So whatever the transition moment integral which you have seen here, transition moment integral, this can be split into in the actually the 3 different ways. Actually, how this can be done actually. Okay, how this splitting can be done. So what you can write, mu n times m in the x direction, that would be equals to summation wave function of n in the x direction, okay, wave function of m, that is d tau, right? And similarly you can go for this one, nu nm in the y coordinates, all things remains the same except this y direction, and this is m d tau, and then if you have this z direction, then this should be psi of n in the z coordinate m d tau. Okay, so this is something very, very important, right? See, if at least any one of the integral is non-zero out of these 3, say this is 0, this is 0, but this is not non-zero, that means the transition is allowed, right? And in the second case, if it is not equal to 0 but these 2 are 0, again it is allowed transition. Okay, this is also allowed transition. Similarly for this one, see, if it is 0, it is non-zero, it is equals to 0, then again it is allowed transition. So anyone, see, out of these three components, if any one of the component is non-zero, then your transition would be allowed one. So this is something very, very important to note that. So if you know only this much of thing in the selection rule, that would be more than sufficient, right? But not in the quantum mechanical way. Okay, see, when you are doing the quantum chemistry, then the things would be different. You have to actually derive this transition moment integral and lots of things, right? But in general spectroscopy, microwave spectroscopy, in the selection rule, this much information is sufficient. Okay, now I am moving to the next very important thing, okay, which is very, very important. Relative intensity of the spectral lines. Relative intensities of spectral lines. Okay, so this is again very, very important. See, if you see your microwave spectrum, then all the lines which are there in the microwave spectrum, they are not having the same kind of the intensity. So their intensity sometimes low, sometimes high. And what are the things that decide the relative intensities of the relative intensities of the lines present in the microwave spectrum, which we discussed today actually, right? So various things are there actually which are responsible for this one, right? Say it is observed that the intensity of the lines in the microwave spectrums are not of the same types. Okay, the relative intensities of the spectral lines are different. So what things actually decide this? So say number one, first is see, if transition probability is very, very high, then the intensity is very, very high. See, okay? High transition probability, right, reflects high intensity of spectral lines. This you should know. Okay, this is something very, very important. And see, another very important thing from from this particular point, you may have the numericals in your examination also. Relative population of the various rotational energy levels. So relative population of various energy levels or the J levels. Okay, so how many molecules are present in the different energy levels, that will also decide actually the relative intensities of the spectral lines. And this is given by the Boltzmann distribution law. So intensity I is directly proportional to the number of molecules in the J level to the number of initial level, and that is equals to exponential minus Ej, that means energy of that particular J level, divided by KT. This is your Boltzmann distribution law. Okay, and here in that case you can see, if you know the little of the mathematics, but this is always the problem for the students who actually left the mathematics in 10th standard. So in understanding these things, there would be some difficulty in that. See, this relative population depends on the energy levels, difference in the energy gap in the energy levels, and also on the temperature. Okay, this thing you should know actually. And since this is the negative power of the this is the negative power of Ej, so if this increases, then the effect will be different. If T increases or T decreases, then the effect would be different. So mathematically, what you can understand from this particular expression, right? What actually we can say here. So relative population, see, it will increase with the temperature or it will decrease with the temperature. So if the temperature increases, okay, so temperature increases means relative population also increases. That means Nj by N0 also increases. That means in order to record the better microwave spectrum, you can increase the temperature, but the limit is that you cannot increase the temperature much due to the heating effect of the radiations. Okay, so why it happens actually, see, this T is in the denominator, this temperature is in the denominator, and this power is negative. So when this power is negative, it is in the denominator. So mathematically, when the temperature increases, this population also increases. But if the energy gap increases, so this is negative, then the population actually decreases. Okay, and this energy gap actually depends on the value of the B. Later we will discuss in the little detail actually. Okay, so this is something very, very important. Now another thing is very, very important, which is what, see, these rotational energy labels, these J labels, they are degenerate. They are degenerate. Degeneration means they are having the same energy. So see, in the next lecture I will discuss the concept of the degeneracy in the little detail, but right now you can understand in that manner that these energy levels or rotational energy levels, they are actually degenerate, right? And this actually degeneracy is given by the term Gj, and Gj is basically is given by 2j plus 1. This is the multiplicity. Okay, this is the multiplicity. So see, this intensity, relative intensity of the spectral lines also depends upon this this actually degeneracy, this term degeneracy. So what we can do, we can actually improve our formula little bit. So how we can improve? I am using the next page. Say what I can do, I can write intensity is directly proportional to the population difference between the Nj to No. Okay, that is equals to the degeneracy term, which was here Gj, and Gj actually is given by the 2j plus 1, which is the degeneracy. Okay, and later we will see how we can actually arrive at why this Gj is 2j plus 1. In the next lecture I will explain this particular point also. So this is 2j plus 1, okay, e to the power of negative Ej by kT. So this formula is very, very important. Okay, say for example, what you can see, you can say this is the expression number 2, and the previous one where it was, right, you can say this is the expression number 1. We'll use these expression later on. Okay, and see now what is the meaning of that? See, if the value see degeneracy, we can calculate the degeneracy. Okay, see, if J value is 0, that mean in that case your Gj would be equals to, that is simply 2j plus 1. Okay, in that manner you can write. So this is what 2 into 0 plus 1, that is 1. So if you are getting 1 in that case, so the system is non-degenerate. Non-degenerate. Okay, say if j equals to 1, then you can calculate Gj equals to 2j plus 1, that is equals to 2 into 1 plus 1 equals to 3. So degeneracy is 3. When the degeneracy is 3, then the value of your angular momentum would be -1, 0 and +1. Okay, later we will discuss all these things, but when you see it is 2, then your this term would be 2j plus 1, that is 2 into 2 plus 1 equals to 5. When it is 5, so it will have the value of +2, 0, sorry, +2, let me correct it. Okay, so for 3 it would be +1, 0, -1. These are the angular momentum. Okay, and for this one, this is +2, +1, 0, -1, -2. So these are somehow related to the orbitals. Actually, you can consider this as the magnetic quantum number of p orbital, right, where you have the p value of +1, 0, -1, and for this you can consider as for d actually, right. So this is how you can understand the things. So say this is your expression number 2. Okay, so see before going into the details, what actually these degeneracy implies, that the intensity of the rotational spectral lines is determined by the what, the product of this degeneracy. Okay, product of this degeneracy factor and the Boltzmann distribution factor. So this actually the population difference, right? It is actually directly related to the degeneracy factor and your Boltzmann distribution factor, and in turn it gives the intensity of the spectral lines, right? Now say this is how you can solve the problems, okay? And what you can do, you can see this was your expression number 2 actually, okay? Now what you can do, you can check here, energy of this jth level is actually given by Hc times Fj. This expression we have derived in the last lecture. So this is the expression number 3, okay? Now what you can do, you can write this Fj equals to, see what is actually your Fj. So this expression can also be written as Bj j plus 1. See, these things I have derived in the previous lectures. So this is, say, the expression number 4, okay? So from here, from expression 3 and expression 4, right? So see, this is energy, and this is energy in the rotational term. So because we have included the B. These things I have actually done in my last lecture. So what I can do, I can write from these expression Ej equals to, so what we are doing, we are actually putting the value of the Fj from this equation 4 to equation 3 actually. So this will give you Hc Bj times j plus 1, okay? Say this is the expression number 5 for this one, okay? Now what you can do, see, you can check this particular expression, which is expression number 2 and the expression number 5. So what we can get from 2 and 5. So I'm using the next page. From expression 2 and 5, what we are having? We are having intensity directly proportional to the population difference between the jth level to the initial level, that is equals to the degeneracy factor 2j plus 1 multiplied by the Boltzmann distribution factor. So we have derived, see, you can see here what we have arrived at, Ej equals to Hc Bj j plus 1, okay? So we'll put that value in that particular expression. So what we'll have, minus Bj times j plus 1 Hc by Kt. So this is the expression, say this is expression number 6, okay? So these things you should actually know. So in order to understand the intensity of the spectral lines, you have to think about these things, okay? Now say if someone asks the intensity of the spectral lines in the microwave spectrum depends on how many factors, then you will simply say that it will depend upon the degeneracy factor, it will depend upon the Boltzmann distribution factor, and Boltzmann distribution factor depends on this rotational term B, right, and your rotational quantum number J, okay? So this is actually the linear relationship, but this is the exponential relationship. I think this makes the sense. So if you can recall, or if you want to revise this one, so what I have given you, I have started from this particular point. This is the Boltzmann distribution law, and this included this degeneracy factor, which I have included here, this degeneracy factor. Then I have explained what is the meaning of the degeneracy, and after that, you know, this energy term I have derived in the last lecture, and this actually also I have derived in the last lecture. Now what we'll do, we'll put that value of Fj in this particular expression to get this particular expression. Now finally this value will put from here to here to get the result, and that result would be just like that. So this is something very, very important for you, okay? So now I am going to discuss another very, very important concept, and see, that concept is actually what? The concept of the J max, concept of the J max. So I am using the next page, concept of the J max. So you may have the numerical in your competitive examination based on this particular concept. Say for example, you are having this, so I am plotting this graph here, okay? So here you can write 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I can extend this x coordinate little further, and this actually shows the population nj by n0, and this say this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5. Okay, so if you see here, the pattern actually goes in that manner. Just like that. Okay, so this is wait, this is the value of the j, rotational quantum number. See, on the x-axis you are having the rotational quantum number, and on the y coordinate you are having the relative population. So this graph is what actually it is showing. It is showing Boltzmann population. It is showing Boltzmann population versus J value for the rigid diatomic molecules. Okay, now what this graph is showing, what this graph is showing, this graph is showing that mean on a particular J value, say for example, if I choose this particular J value, say 2, J value equals to 2. Okay, it is not looking like exactly 2, so you can put 2 here. Okay, so it is not to the scale, not to the scale. See guys, this is very important for the chemistry students or any science student. Whenever you are plotting a particular graph and you are not taking any scale, say it is essential to write not to the scale over there. Okay, so in that case what it is showing, that for j equals to 2, your nj by n0 is maximum, population is maximum, but for j equals to 1, that population is not maximum. For j equals to 2, j equals to 2 population is not maximum. J equals to 4, it is not maximum. So this is actually what the value of the j max, and in that case the j max value is 2. Okay, so what it says, that from this particular diagram we can very clearly conclude that the relative intensity of the spectral lines passes through the maximum, which is called the j max, right? And see, this can be shown that the value of the j corresponding to the maximum population, like 2 here, just like that, and this is known as the concept of the j max. So if you want to calculate the j max, so how you can calculate? So j max, for j max you are having this particular formula. I am not deriving this formula, but I am directly giving you the formula, which is quite useful, which is quite useful for your examination point of view. So this is your square root of kt, okay, over 2hc b minus 1 by 2. So this is guys very important expression, and we can say we can give the number to this expression 7. Earlier I can check, okay, sorry, previous, okay, 6, now this is 7, expression 7. Okay, now see, if you put the value of 2 here, if you put the value of the Planck's constant, if you put the value of the c, okay, all these things if you can put, then you can simplify that equation in that manner. J max equals to 0.5896 root of 2t by b minus 0.5. So it doesn't matter whether you use the expression 7 or the expression 6, both will give you the same result. So how we arrived at this particular expression? We simply put the value of the k, h, c and t actually. Okay, so this is how, see, this j max is very important. Suppose you are having this particular numerical, say you have been given this particular question, calculate the j max, for a rigid molecule, because we are following the rigid rotor model, okay, molecule for which see Jmax for a rigid molecule for which, not for which, rigid molecule Jmax value at 300 Kelvin, okay, and rotational constant B is given, say in that case 1.566 centimeter inverse. So simply you put the value from the on this particular expression to get the result. So how to do that? See this, I am solving this particular problem by using the expression 7, so that you can have idea about the dimension also. See, for the beginners or the students actually who are not very good or very sharp in the subject, they know each and every simple things actually, and this dimension analysis is very, very important, right? So I am using this expression 7. How we can calculate this one? So you can write Jmax, that is equals to square root of Kt over 2HCB minus of half. Okay, now you can put the values. All the values are given here. So value of K, that means Boltzmann constant, 1.38 into 10 raised the power minus 23, and you are using this unit joule per Kelvin, okay, and then you are using the temperature, and you know the temperature is what? This temperature is 300 Kelvin. There is no problem in that. This should be divided by 2 is the constant, so you can straightforward write 2 here, okay, and that 2 should be multiplied by this value of the H, that is the Planck's constant, and I am using the value of the Planck constant 6.626 into 10 raised the power minus 34, unit is joule into second, okay, and then you can put the value of your C, okay, so you will use 3 into 10 raised the power 10 centimeter second inverse. This is how you can write actually, okay, and then you are having the you will put this particular value. So I am not having a space, so you can consider I am multiplying this value. So I am putting in that manner, I am multiplying this value 1.566 centimeter inverse, which is the value of this one, right? And of course this is this factor, and minus 1 by 2 is always there, okay. So now you understood that why I have used this 3 into 10 to the power 10 centimeter inverse, because I am having the value of B in the centimeter inverse, okay. Now if you cancel the units, so how you can do that actually? See, this is joule, cancelled, Kelvin cancelled, and you see this is centimeter inverse, this is again cancelled, okay, and this is your second inverse, this is your second, again it is cancelled, okay, and see now you are having this dimensionless thing. So if you solve this parameter, this particular expression, then you will have square root of 4140 divided by 62.257 minus 0.5. If you solve this particular expression, that will give you 7.65, which is roughly 8. You can round off by using the rules of significant figures, okay. So this is how you can calculate the Jmax. So for Jmax, in that case actually, if you have been given this B, then Jmax would be different. So this Jmax actually that depends on the B. So if the B increases, this decreases. Relationship you can check here, okay, and rest of the parameters are also given. So what is the conclusion, right? So conclusion is that transition between levels with the very high or the very low J values will have the low intensities, which actually we can see from this particular plot also. Okay, transition with very low and very high J values will have the lower intensity. Okay, while the intensity of the spectral lines will be maximum, right, at the nearest integral J values, and this 2 is the nearest integral J value, but in that particular expression when the B is given, I have calculated this 8. So this concept is very, very important, and these things actually, if you know, it will strong your physical chemistry, your physical spectroscopy concept. Okay, now say for example, moving to the next one, say you have to calculate, say, relative population. What we are doing, we are calculating the relative population of molecules, of course microwave active molecules, in first two J levels. Okay, first two J level means J equals to 0 and J equals to 1. You have to calculate this one, and say for example we have been given the value of B is 2.0 centimeter inverse, and you are calculating this at 300 Kelvin. This you have given. So how you can do that? You know, the formula is Nj by N0, that means N final by N initial. So N final is 1, N initial is N0. That would be equals to the exponential minus BHC by KT multiplied by J times J plus 1. Excuse me. Okay, now if you want to solve this one, so you can write E as such, and then you can put your values here. Negative is there, B value of the B is 2.0. Okay, now I am not writing the units actually, and for the unit you can see this expression. Okay, this expression. Okay, and this should be multiplied by the H. The value of H 6.63 into 10 is the power minus 34, and C you will use again the centimeter value, 3 into 10 is the power 10 centimeter per second. This should be divided by the value of the Boltzmann constant, which is 1.38 into 10 raised the power minus 23, and of course the temperature is 300 Kelvin. Okay, and if you solve this, then you will find e to the power of negative. So why to put this negative outside? Negative 0.00960. Okay, J value is what? Which is 1 plus 1. Okay, so you can write here also 1 into 1 plus 1. Okay, and this will give you e to the power of, see, 2 1s are 2, 2 plus 2, that means this whole thing 0.00960. Okay, this value should be multiplied with 2, and that will give you e to the power of 0.019, right? And this will give you what? 0.989, which is roughly 1, Okay, see guys, see, some of you, if you don't have the mathematical background, then you may have the problem in facing this value. See, this E actually, this E is what actually, right? Say this E is actually the Euler's number. It is Euler's number. Okay, and this E is having the value of 2.71828. So you can alternatively you can also solve this expression in that manner. Instead of E, what you can write? You can write 2.71828. Okay, and this is raised to the power of this one. What? This 0.019, negative 0.019. Okay, so if you want to change this particular expression, so this you can make this negative with positive by taking this into the reciprocal, 1828 to the power of 0.019. This will give you this particular value. This is 1 actually. Okay, so this is how you can calculate the value. So if you have been given the different j values, then you may have the different populations. Okay, so see, in that case, what you are observing, see, if you are having the j0 or j1, so this ratio is actually coming out roughly 1. Okay, so what is the meaning of that? See, there are almost same population in the 0th level and the first level. Why? Because the energy gap between the 0 and the first energy level is very, very small, right? Very, very small compared to this KT, compared to this KT. See, if actually see more rapid decrease in the ratios of this population Nj by N0 occurs at larger value of the B. If you increase the value of the B, from expression you can see here, see, since this is negative sign, this B is there. If you increase the value of B, then this ratio, this population difference also decreases, right? This is something very, very important. Okay, so what we can do, we can explain this thing in that manner. Say for example, you have been given, you are having this particular plot. This and this. Okay, so this is what? Nj by N0. Here the value of the j which is increasing, this is the initial value. Okay, now say you are having the value of B5, you have been given this one, and for this you are having, say, this kind of plot. Okay, now you increase the value of B, say you are going for 10, of course the units would be there, okay, in centimeter inverse, in centimeter inverse. So for B actually you will have this kind of pattern. So this is for B equals to 10 centimeter inverse, and this is for B equals to 5 centimeter inverse. So what you are observing, if you increases the value of the B, say B if increases, okay, then your population difference, that is N0 by NO, also decreases, and I also decreases. That means the intensity also decreases. Now you can see here in the expression, if you go back, where, see, this expression, this T, this is in the denominator, this is the power negative. That means if you increase the temperature, this will increase. So how you can do that? Say, I can write in that manner. Say if T increases, then this Nj by N0 also increases. But we cannot increase the temperature much due to the heating effect of the radiations, as we have discussed this in the NMR spectroscopy also. If you increase the temperature much, then due to this heating effect, the population actually in the successive energy levels decreases at very high temperatures, but on slight change of the temperature it may increase. Okay, so this is how you can see, you can think about all these things. So see, we can prove this thing. How we can prove this thing? Say for example, say I am giving you this particular point, you are having this Nj by N0, you know this is directly proportional to the e to the power of negative b from this particular expression. If you go here, e to the power of negative b, I am taking only this part, okay, I am taking only this part, okay. So if you have this value, say for example, you are having the value of b 5, so that means you are having e to the power of negative 5, and if you solve, see, you know, I have given you the value of this Euler's number again, right? This was what? 2.71828 negative 5. If you solve this particular expression, okay, so if you solve this particular expression, this will give you not 6 actually, I have calculated this value 7, so let me check exact value. Okay, this is 727 into 10 raised to the power minus 3. Okay, and if you increase that value of up to 10, that is e to the power 10, it simply means 2.71828 negative 10. This will give you 4.4 or roughly 4.5. Okay, this is say 4.5. okay, and this is 10 raised to the power minus 5. Okay. So if you focus on this particular value, so this value is lower value and this value is the higher value. So if you increase the B, then the population difference decreases, and when the population decreases, it simply means the intensity also decreases. This point I have actually explained. Now similarly, you can actually do this for temperature also. Say you can see the expression for temperature in the last. See, e to the power of negative 1 by t, negative 1 by t. So what you can do, you can write in that manner, this population difference, that is nj by n0, that is equals to e to the power of, or proportionality sign I should give, negative 1 by t. So this is the negative sign mathematically, and it is in the denominator. If it increases, right, then this value will also increase. So for example, you are calculating at 300 Kelvin and then you are calculating it say at 400 Kelvin. So what you can see here, this will give you the e to the power of 1 by 300. Okay, and this is what your Euler's number, 2.7187. What was that? 2.71828 negative, okay, 1 by 300. If you solve, then this will give you 0.9966, and if you do for this one, e to the power of negative 1 by of 400, okay, this will give you 0.9975. So it is increasing, not much, but it is increasing. So at higher temperature it is increases, but we cannot increase the temperature much. So these are the things you should actually know in the microwave spectroscopy when it comes to the intensity of the spectral lines. Now we have covered, see in this particular lecture what we have covered. Okay, we have covered this selection rule, which is delta J equal to J plus 1. Then we have seen little your quantum mechanical part of this one, transition moment integral. Then we have seen the concept of the relative intensities and the Boltzmann distribution law and the various terms involved in it. Then we have seen the degeneracy concept. Then I have given you this particular final formula, which is very, very important. And then I have explained the concept of the J max. After J max, where I have calculated this particular value of the J max for the value of the B equals to 1.566 at 300 Kelvin, and then I have calculated the relative population in the first two energy levels where both are equally populated roughly. Okay, and then I have also calculated the relative population at using the different B value, right, and that value that B value was actually your different. Okay, and then so that B value was actually this, you have calculated in that manner. So these things you should know actually. So with the very important concept is what the concept of the degeneracy. So in the next lecture I will explain the concept of the degeneracy in pretty much detail. Okay, I hope you understood the thing. See guys, if you are new viewer here, go through the first two lectures also and then come to this particular lecture to understand the microwave concept of the microwave spectroscopy, and this would be very, very helpful for the MSc students, for the students who are preparing for your SIR NET GATE and NET and GATE, not for IIT JAM. That much of syllabus is not there in the IIT JAM. Okay, but if you are going for the entrance examination for PhD, right, then these things are very, very important for you. Okay guys, I hope you like the lecture. If you like the lecture, please subscribe the Tetrahedron chemistry classes, okay, and share with your friends also. So that's it for today guys. Thank you very much.